And the midheaven is applying to the sun, that is 13 degrees Scorpio, ruled by Mars in 0 degrees Sagittarius, still opposing Uranus Sedna. And um, I'd like to credit Light for talking about something that happens in power dynamics. And this is where people want to make of certain individuals a cautionary tale. She talked about the myth of Medusa, and this is something where they try to take a person that says no to oppression, says basically yes to life. That's basically the thing. And to paint that picture as of a person that something terrible happened to them because of that. Now, here is why those things never work. Because let's take a look at the structure. Let's say they would send people to target certain individual. The juxtaposition between the torture that the people went through in what sent them to make of person cautionary tale versus the light, love, rest, passion, benevolence, honor, and respect of the individuals that they were sent to is very striking. Okay? Imagine you're sent to hunt a person and you go after that person. Maybe they told you, I don't know how many things. You go after that person, you see that person is living a good lifestyle. But you say to yourself, well, I'm smart. They ask me what about, yes, I'm hunting that person, I'm this, I'm that, da, 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 da. Meanwhile, you see if you can try to talk to that person. Say, hey, that person is benevolent. They set boundaries, but they're not malign. Now you ask yourself, okay, maybe I can get along with that person. And meantime, everything you argue about, eventually that person offers a bigger point of view. So, where is the abundance? Is within that person. Now, if you're smart, you're not going to try to hunt that person. And what the people want you to bring in and the energy of that person to them, and they offer you riches. They offer you nothing. Usually they offer you Delano. You bring the video, you brought the video, where's the money? Life sentence. And given that a person is smart, they're going to say, okay, I'm not going to take from their energy. I'm going to be even smarter, not to take from their energy. How they live their life, let's see if it works for me. What they do, let's see if it works for me. Not going to steal their ideas, because their way of living generates something. And every time they're on a mission, they are basically on vacation, where the place that sent them, it's like Mormons on a mission. All you have to do to, yes, you deal with a Mormon on a mission, all you have to do is ask them plenty of questions and offer them coffee. Because the place that sent them is a place that is so torturous and humiliating and horrible that they were taught to think about anyone that isn't as a loser. So what goes about is pretty much that trajectory. They trafficked women in North Korea to make it possible for oligarchs to visit and pay money, okay, to invest in North Korea, because they couldn't. Totalitarian regime cannot give food to the people. It's against life. Now, later they were angry that the women that they trafficked were not serving the interest of North Korea. Why would they? Were they honored? Were the sexual sovereignty honored? Could they say yes, no, maybe? Now, why did they say the Me Too went too far? Because without rape, entire global totalitarian regime cannot exist. It is also the case that if people are okay with rape, then totalitarianism is okay for them. Rape is totalitarianism. It's violation of the identity of the health, is control, is totalitarianism. And look at Kim Jong-un. The smuggled satellites from North Korea, do you know what they showed? They showed Kim Jong-un playing the main character in MASH. I'm not joking. He's a good actor. He likes to smoke. He likes to drink. He likes to joke around. Anything that was not allowed to his people. Yes, this is why many people are now beginning to see that the place that sent them is way crueler than the place where they sent them to hunt down. I saw, remember a while ago, person standing, filming, waiting, and you see that person was sent to watch. When I was digging half moons in the soil, I say to him, I see you standing for such long hours. Aren't you afraid to get a back pain? I don't know if whoever you were standing for is paying you enough. because it's costly. When you lose ability to work, you work so hard. Now here's the thing. Whatever people try to paint stories of, look at that person, don't be like that person, successful person, I can't think of a context where they will say that. And trying to use intimidation on people, why does it not work? It does not work eventually because their bodies cannot operate in oppression. And even the doctors that have to give all the weird, in Israel they're trying to kidnap children. There was this chatzevet, I don't know what is this. And parents that don't want to, after COVID, put something for the child that is not, that they don't know what it is, they try to kidnap their children. Today I saw Pluto Fifth House of Israel. Now, to be very honest, I don't know what is this. I'm not a for or against. It's just something very simple that they use it as excuse to kidnap children, and where they would take the children is extortion calls. Anneke Lucas is survivor of a thing like that. And then they turn to a lawyer. The lawyer have the flag of the skulls and bones. It's a skull with the bones in the shape of X. He doesn't work against the human trafficking. It shows they learned nothing from COVID, because in COVID, the people that had side effects from the vaccine, they would try to traffic these people. And then the people would tell them, don't do vaccine, don't do vaccine. They were the traffickers. So they try to take a lawyer. That lawyer doesn't work against human trafficking, doesn't offer anything against the targeted individuals. And he name lists all the people that turn to him to get their children back. Is it not normal that after COVID parents will be afraid for what to give for the children? Is it not normal that after children kidnapped to extortion calls don't have supportive families, using all types of excuses to kidnap children, not giving public house to mothers or fathers if they divorce, not having work in sector that is actually work? Is it not normal that those parents are reluctant to have their children taken from them? So masses of people begin to awake and say, hey, we don't want this. Now here it is. I tend to political assassination prevention. That being said, if person was prime minister doing such things, it's very difficult. All I can say, all I can do for them is talk about the structure of extortion calls to begin with. But these prime ministers, present or past, will need to find a way to, to not cooperate with those systems. Yes, I'm not saying this with judgment, and I don't say it's easy. But definitely, they shouldn't act Kim Jong-un about it, is what I'm saying. Because otherwise, it's very easy to assassinate them, not for me. I'm not looking to assassinate anybody. It's very easy to assassinate them, and it's very difficult to prevent that assassination. And the juxtaposition of that ease and that difficulty, um, now many people see that already. All of these, even army soldiers that were told you will be able to be picking from the girls and raping girls and this and that, later they find out that all was taped. And the very people that told them, you can pick whatever this, you can this, whatever that, they are the people that will expose them. The same people that try to get them to do crime is the people that will expose them. They don't have to fear the competing gangster as much as they have to fear their own mob boss. I say mob boss for lack of better term, okay? Because that can be oil company, that can be, okay? And at the end of the day, something that works on control, something that works on being totalitarian eventually doesn't work. Why did they give women driving license in Saudi Arabia? And even the military basements and nursing basements, they made completely different rules. Because to go full totalitarian North Korea style, North Korea could only work because it was an experiment by design. And even that experiment failed. Now, it is only by, Gaza. People were promised that they will have land in Gaza, that they will have equity in the oil companies that they will invest. The world is moving away from oil. Any oil giant country, Saudi Arabia, have a megalithic solar farm. They know its transitional phase. They plan for sovereignty. They know when it's time to take out the kafir and act normal. They take out the kafir and they give human rights and women rights and whatever, because they know that show is they know very well a warlock repels a good woman. He attracts a witch. Now, you see, some people they don't always openly declare, but they're not necessarily in relationship. Or in situation where it's not committed. Why? Because they know and Light talked about this, and she's correct. People, the smart people, they already plan for sovereignty. Any business could open a business and say, oh, I hire a company in India, they will do the customer service, a company in that. Yes, I had a friend artist. She hired a place to do the t-shirts. Fantastic. She sold prints, she sold this, she sold that. Amazing. Now what happens when they have a labor right in that printing company? People plan for sovereignty because they know it's labor rights o'clock. The people that tell you the Me Too went too far, they go about the bush and they plan because they know that it was the first domino. They may go as a mockingbird, the Me Too went too far, they may, but then they go back to work and they say, okay, What are the skills that I need for the after Me Too world? What are the skills that I need for women's rights? Who is going to demand women's rights? How is it going to affect the sector? How is it going to affect my business? How is it going to affect... Now, the people that without women rights, if how should I say it? If women have rights, all of their life fall apart. Then what can I say? They didn't plan for sovereignty. Now let me tell you, even in those campaigns, when person, how should I say that? They need to catch some person on something that is missing for them. First, some people that try with material things, works halfway, because any smart person, man or woman, would say, okay, I want this and this and this, I need that to be written on my name, Slavic girl style, you know. And they say gold digger, not gold digger. If a person wasn't honored, they say why women don't want to work. I addressed that in the previous episode, I guess. Then they try for the emotional things. Okay, emotional things. Then a person is expected to be consistent. If a person not consistent, people will say, okay, they will rebel. You know, in those situations, there's always this big breakdown. Then they try to imitate more and more like normal, loving, safe relation. Now, the people that they try to target, these people are doing personal growth. And it does work for them. So they have to go through hoops, go through hoops, go through hoops. And either they themselves learn how to have a safe, happy relationship, or the person leaves. And it's like, how could that person leave me? Da, 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 da. Let's think. You learned more and more tricks of how to take from the energy, while they did more and more shadow work of how to stand sovereign and in connection. Even to teach a woman to be, I don't know, for sex espionage, I don't know what, then they need to teach her to love her sensuality. Okay, they need to train her for that. Okay, then she loves her sensuality. Somebody tries to get her back in the mock her and this and that. This is no, this is not a good relationship. And then they say, oh, these women, they went too far. They didn't go too far. Because at first she thought you were loving, or if to begin with one was not loving and had to accommodate, then she thought, okay, maybe this person will grow, we give him chance. Also men that look for actual relationships, they learn about more and more things. Let me tell you a post that I read today on Facebook, Anonym. And it was a lady that shared something. She dated some guy, made love and so on. And he says, listen, I have something to say, but please accept it in good faith. there is a weird scent there. At first I thought it's one-time thing, but I think it's more maybe to take care of that. Now, to take care of that, holistic health practitioner, I know what she needs to do, both to make sure what the food is actually nourishing, the probiotics and so on, better to work with soil that is nourished, and to make sure it's will and consent. That she is ready, okay? Now the boyfriend will have to adjust. He wants that to smell good. And now we have a duo that works together. He wants her to smell good. She learns to deepen her sensuality connection, and also that food absorbs better when her sexual sovereignty is honored. And this is where people, I saw another short today, and I learned a lot from this short. It was a guy that had probably white mom because his skin complexion and he's not albino, and father from Africa. I know there are white people in Africa. That person wasn't white, okay? So, white person, black person, and the boy was resting a little bit. They had this huge poof, and he was resting, and he says, and he gives the voiceover of the father. Why you do nothing? Why you rest? Why you this? Why you that? Ta 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 ta. I said it's very easy to understand how it was to enslave African people, because when they would hear a person sailing to unknown country, they would say, "You're so lazy. You cannot swim. At least be thankful, be grateful. They gave you a lifelong loan for that free ride." And as funny as this story is, it is also painfully true. But I was in Netherlands in COVID, and there was shelter. Because Israel doesn't know how to offer housing solutions to people. So, and so, lady, very nice lady says, if you sit, you can take off mask. Put it under your chin. If you walk around, put on mask. Then a person confronted her. She said, "Has nothing to do with COVID. These are the rules." Now everybody wants that mask on the chin, underneath the chin. Okay. I'm a aromatherapist with oils that worked in the Spanish flu. These oils put people through the Black Death and survived. Okay. There was a person that was addicted to cocaine. She started smelling in the nostril where she smelled cocaine because I was working with mint essential oil. It smells, but not like corruption. Now, in such culture, to come up with more weird rules is easy. in the beginning. Because the rules in Netherlands only worked when they made sense. And there was a time where the rules in Netherlands made sense. Actually, the loop where one has to have a BSN, which is some sort of a number, to have a job, and then they have to have a job to have apartment, but to have apartment, to have BSN, they need address, and to have address, they need a BSN, even residence. So a guy that gave me a ticket on the train when I was homeless, and he told me he lived 10 years in Dubai, and he came back, and thanks God his mother was alive, because otherwise, as Dutch, he would not have the BSN. So in COVID, they fixed that. And this is exactly what happens when they try to fool all the people all the time. Then people begin to pay attention and say, oh, that stupid thing. Now, how many Dutch parents, native born Dutch parents, had their children living in Portugal, in this, in that, in Ausland, in I don't know. Why? Well, why not go back to Netherlands and make money in Netherlands, be a part of the economy? Well, I would love to go to Netherlands, but they don't have a BSN, and with BSN they need address, and to have address they need the BSN. So they stay outside. Those are exactly the things that are happening right now. For me, when I was young, I said if at 12 somebody tried to give me whiskey, waiting for my mother to sell her 12 years old daughter for housing, Dutch realtor, then the young 12 years old me had earned the language acquisition problem when it came to Dutch language on that day. And gave up the possibility because it seemed to have housing is beyond impossible. Now again, I don't know how would my life look like or this. Okay, I don't know if it's a good place for me to be, not good place. I know nothing because you have to live in a place to, okay? But when person meets those barriers, I tried 10 years, I tried to have separate place from my parent, then I went to study. Then, as normal human being, I tried to rent an apartment. Trafficking attempts. I don't know, targeting attempts. What happened? What happened? How can I ever be in a relationship with a man if I cannot live in a house? A lot of women say, oh, why didn't the man leave his parents and so on and so forth. So I don't ask why didn't the man leave his parents. I go work on myself to have my housing, my own sovereignty. Then from that basis people can have connection. If tomorrow, I don't know, he doesn't like this or that about me. And I say, okay, we can separate, nothing happened. We don't have to be a joint venture. Or if I want to say no, or something doesn't work for me, I don't need to gaslight him and act all narcissistic so that he will want to dump me or whatnot. No, I said this and this is not working for me. If we don't find the common ground, then we can separate. Neither of us has to be fearing to be homeless because the relationship did not work out or friendship did not develop into more or whatnot. Now here is the thing. Every culture has its own things that those trajectories can have a hold or okay, have a hold on, and societies need to learn. You see, because what happened, a lot of, for example, Asian came to America. They weren't paid nearly as much as they should have been paid, but they escaped a culture that is still their culture, but they have a culture to compare it to. They learned about emotional communication, about the things that were missing basically in the original culture. And they don't forget the old culture, but there is transmutation. And those are also things that begin to allow the release of the stranglehold also from the tribal power abuse. That's usually unconscious. But hey, if in Somalia old men turn over a government decision to abolish child marriage, thanks Modi for broadcasting from Somalia. This is exactly the reason that to say, oh, look at that person, look what happened to that person, look at this, look at that, doesn't work because it doesn't address the actual issue. And the actual issue is what is missing in the existing situation. To build on purpose structures, to subjugate, to disempower, to is something that is meant to fall. But for it to fall, people also need to transmute a lot of things that they weren't aware of. For example, during COVID, until I wasn't in lockdown, in my one-room apartment for 2 weeks twice, I didn't think I need any more than that. And until I didn't try to live alone in a house that's actually meant for living, and turn over the soil, then I wasn't aware of many of the problems of housing. It was always in the back of the mind, but for me it was more like the challenge in just to make a call, just to do, just to move, just to tend to it. Now, I didn't know that what behind this challenge was all these problems that I would soon find out and tend to. And then it looked like, for unwise people, it could look like laziness. It's not laziness. As the body sensed, what does it mean to tend to something so basic as to live by myself before I enter a relationship, before I don't know what. Also, real estate wise, if a woman is not safe living alone in a place, this place is not safe. This place will be invaded, this place will be concentration camp, this place will be many things before it turns safe. And to try to on purpose make a place not safe to live, to think one could take over the real estate, then they need people to do that. And those people see that, wait a second, the people that they're coming to target, the way better if they will have something, municipality, regime, union, something, because where they came from is no good. Now there is this thing that I call it babushka. Why babushka? Because babushka, if you take the doll babushka and you turn it to the side, you bend it, poof, you just let go of the minute you let go of your hand, it bounces back. And people are like that. So the effort to keep people always on the stranglehold on people, it takes all of the energy and all of the resources from those that wanted to do that, and they wanted to do that to get resources and get energy. And not only that, you see, if somebody comes and try to offer me, oh, come work with me. I said, okay, what do you do for a living? And in the beginning, it may sound more or less normal. And I say, oh, but if you do this and that, we can improve upon the working situation. Well, what is this and that? Oh, I have business to the side. There's only soft drugs. But why business for the side? If I work legal, and I need payment legal. And not only that, if weed is in Netherlands is not a monkey business. It's a business. So why illegal? Oh, there's cameras in the place, and lady brings lingerie. What lingerie? You said soft drugs, which I would anyway not work for because I don't use drugs. But even then, you want to do business with drugs, you can do it legally in Netherlands. What lingerie in business with drugs and come in the building of the place where they check the street called the Bink company, not the jewelry company. I don't know if the jewelry company are traffickers or not. The Bink where they have the workers of both of the train and for the people that are security in the street. They use the real estate double. And they warn that they work with the police, so they try to make sure nobody can escape their trafficking. I remember a couple of years ago I told the jewelry company, the Bink, that they have to be cautious because there's a company called the Bink that's doing the double on the real estate, and they're trafficking people, so that they wouldn't think the Bink is that jewelry company. Now I don't know if it's a daughter company, that I don't know, but just for the sake that it's a legal business, then and I know that only because I don't look Dutch. Maybe even if I looked Dutch, they would have a different scenario, but and everybody knew, the police knew. What was this organization? Polaris? The ministry of this, ministry of that. All of them got notified. With the little internet that they had, do you think from these double dealing real estate places there will not be a code orange? And I don't mean the weather. From Kiryat Gat, they had this Intel factory, later trafficking. Do you think they did not plan the 7th October, but the people that thought they were going to have a mansion in Gaza, later real estate investors in area in Cyprus, I think it was, where the area was where people were where people fled from the area, was something along not a genocide, but kind of fled from the area. A real estate investor took all the land and so on and so forth, got litigated, got algorithmed. What do you think will any real estate investor that try to even think about investing in Gaza? They had Rabat before 7th October. Could anybody live in Rabat? Forget the infrastructure. They don't need Israeli infrastructure. Energy, they can have solar panels and they can make water from the air. They don't need Israel for infrastructure. But who can have a house in Rabat? I saw the design. Not enough greenery. Beautiful stone houses. Amazing. Lovely design. Kind of look like Doha, except it's next to Jerusalem. You want to tell me they could build all this and not a solar roof and solar farm and bring water from the air? That they needed to rely on Israeli infrastructure? In the Negev, when they wanted to actually settle, they put solar panels. Nobody could talk to them. Later, Israel said, okay, only one plot of land per family. Off with the polygamy. And the women, they wanted polygamy. Why? When a woman is raped, I guess it tends to deliver more women. I don't know why. But, so they were afraid they will not have a husband to marry. They do witchcraft on the women. Warlocks. Later, when the women become witchy, they have to, women that would not become witchy if they have warlocks for husbands and boyfriends and whatnot, if they will not become witchy, they will not sustain. And later the families, they're sick of the Hamula wars, the tribal wars, so they go to live in the city. Now you have a judge in the Supreme Court or in the county court. You know the judge family fled from the Hamula wars. Now they have to judge 14 years old children that were turned into sex offenders as children. And they're afraid because of their tribe. But same person will trial the same children from the same tribe. So they don't know how to solve it, so they do Hamula wars. This is accepted. They kill each other. But when they wanted to have solar panels, they had solar panels, no problem. No electricity, no problem. Solar panels. Israel had to catch up with the solar panels of the Bedouins. Until now, they make some sort of lie that people still have to pay electricity even though they have solar panels. In Netherlands, they made Lightyear 1. It's a car that drives all the way to Spain and back, fully solar. In Netherlands, okay? Not a sunny country. Do you think they couldn't do solar panels in Gaza? Water from the air in Gaza? No, but they had to traffic